Most people don't realize that how someone treats their birthday can quietly reveal how they experience the world. While some people plan weeks in advance, others let the day pass without cake, candles, or attention. Psychology explains that this choice is rarely random. It is often connected to how a person relates to identity, time, emotion, and social expectations. By the end of this, you'll understand why some people treat their birthday like a normal day, why skipping celebrations doesn't always mean sadness or indifference, and what this behavior reveals about the human mind. If you've ever downplayed your own birthday or felt uncomfortable being the center of attention, this will feel surprisingly familiar. For many people, birthdays are symbols. They mark growth, survival, and belonging. But for others, the brain does not attach the same emotional weight to these markers. Their mind processes time in a more continuous way, rather than through milestones. Psychologically, they experience life as an ongoing flow instead of a series of checkpoints that require celebration. One common reason people skip birthdays is emotional self-regulation. Some individuals are highly sensitive to emotional peaks. Celebrations create expectations, attention, and social pressure. For people with calm or introspective temperaments, these emotional spikes can feel overwhelming rather than joyful. Their nervous system prefers stability over stimulation. This shows up in everyday life as someone who avoids big announcements, keeps achievements quiet, and feels uncomfortable when praised publicly. Their brain releases stress hormones more easily in high-attention situations, even if the attention is positive. So choosing a quiet birthday is often a way to protect emotional balance. Another psychological factor is independence. Some people associate birthdays with dependence on others for validation. Gifts, messages, and gatherings all require external effort. Individuals with strong self-reliance traits may feel uneasy tying their self-worth to whether others remember or show up. Skipping the celebration becomes an act of emotional autonomy. Have you ever noticed how some people don't even mention their birthday unless asked? That's often because their sense of value is internally anchored. Their brain rewards self-consistency and personal standards more than social affirmation. This doesn't mean they don't appreciate others. It means their emotional reward system works differently. There is also the role of past experiences. The brain is a prediction machine. If birthdays in childhood were disappointing, stressful, or ignored, the mind learns to lower expectations. Over time, avoiding birthdays becomes a protective habit. It reduces the risk of emotional letdown before it even happens. This pattern can appear in subtle ways. Someone might say they don't care about birthdays, but what they really mean is that they learned not to hope too much. The brain associates birthdays with vulnerability, and avoidance becomes a form of emotional safety. Interestingly, some people skip birthdays because they are deeply present-focused. They value ordinary days more than symbolic ones. Their psychology is grounded in routine, meaning, and consistency. To them, a random Tuesday can be just as meaningful as a birthday if it's spent well. These individuals often show high mindfulness traits. Their brain is less drawn to ceremonial moments and more attuned to everyday quality of life. They may celebrate quietly through reflection rather than parties. For them, meaning doesn't require an audience. Social identity also plays a role. Birthdays are social contracts. They signal age, status, and life stage. Some people feel uncomfortable with these labels. They don't want their age highlighted or their life progress evaluated against social expectations. Treating the day as normal allows them to opt out of comparison. Have you ever felt that birthdays invite questions you don't want to answer? Questions about success, relationships, or where life is headed. For people who value privacy, avoiding birthday celebrations reduces social scrutiny. Their brain seeks psychological space, not judgment. There's also a quiet confidence behind this behavior that often goes unnoticed. Some people don't celebrate because they don't feel the need to mark their existence for reassurance. Their sense of self is stable. They know who they are without reminders. Psychologically, this reflects strong self-concept clarity. At the same time, this doesn't mean everyone who skips birthdays is emotionally strong. For some, it's a mix of strength and sensitivity. The human mind is complex. Avoidance can coexist with resilience. Independence can coexist with vulnerability. Another important factor is how people view time itself. Some individuals experience time as cyclical, not linear. To them, another year passing doesn't feel dramatic. Their brain doesn't assign urgency or meaning to aging in the same way. Life feels continuous rather than segmented. This often shows up in how they plan their future. They focus on long-term growth instead of yearly milestones. Their motivation system is driven by internal progress, not calendar dates. A birthday simply doesn't register as psychologically important. In relationships, this trait can sometimes cause misunderstandings. Friends or partners may assume the person feels unappreciated or distant, but often the opposite is true. They may feel deeply connected, yet prefer low-key expressions of care. Their emotional language is quiet, not absent. This raises an interesting question. Do you measure meaning by how loudly it's expressed or by how deeply it's felt? Psychology suggests that many people confuse celebration with significance. For some minds, silence holds more meaning than noise. Cultural background also influences this behavior. In some cultures, birthdays are less emphasized, while community events or shared achievements matter more. The brain adapts to what is socially rewarded. If birthdays weren't reinforced growing up, the emotional response never fully developed. Over time, the habit becomes identity. "I don't celebrate birthdays" becomes a personal rule. The brain likes consistency. Once a pattern forms, it feels safer to maintain it than to change it, even if circumstances shift. There's also a philosophical layer. Some people see birthdays as arbitrary. They question why a single day should define reflection or gratitude. Their thinking style is analytical and meaning-driven. They prefer to reflect on life continuously rather than on a scheduled date. This trait often overlaps with deep thinkers. People who question rituals tend to question other social norms too. Their brain is less influenced by tradition and more by personal logic. That can make them seem detached, but it often means they are highly intentional. As people age, this behavior can evolve. Some who avoided birthdays when younger begin to appreciate them later. Others do the opposite. Psychology shows that our relationship with time changes as priorities shift. What matters is not the behavior itself, but the meaning behind it. If you treat your birthday like a normal day, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It may mean your mind values peace over performance, depth over display, and authenticity over ritual. That's not emotional coldness, it's emotional selectivity. The key insight is this: how someone handles their birthday reflects how they handle attention, expectations, and self-worth. It reveals how their brain balances emotion and identity, and no single approach is healthier than the other. Some people need celebration to feel seen. Others feel most themselves when nothing changes at all. Both are valid expressions of being human. The real question is whether your choice is conscious. Are you skipping celebration because it aligns with who you are, or because you learned to minimize yourself? Reflection matters more than the ritual. If this resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on how you relate to milestones in your life. Notice what you celebrate, what you avoid, and why. Understanding that can bring clarity far beyond birthdays. If you found this perspective meaningful, feel free to share your thoughts, join the conversation, and support the channel by liking and subscribing. Sometimes the quietest behaviors reveal the deepest truths about the mind.